Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Mohamad Hairul. Very good afternoon. My presentation today is on tort law in construction, focusing on two key areas: the principle from the case of RYLANDS versus FLETCHER, and also the tort of the negligence. We begin with the case of RYLANDS versus FLETCHER, which introduced the concept of strict liability. Strict liability is significant because it means a party can be held responsible for damage even without proof of negligence. In the original case, the defendant's contractor failed to properly seal disused mine shaft when building a reservoir, causing water to flood the plaintiff mine. To prove a claim under RYLANDS versus FLETCHER, four key elements must be met: accumulation, non-natural use, escape, and finally, possible damage. First, on accumulation, the defendant must bring and keep a dangerous thing onto the line. In construction, this could be water, chemicals, and also construction materials. Second, non-natural use. The use of the land must be unusual or create extra risk. For example, installing a large temporary water storage tank on a site construction. Third, escape. The dangerous thing must escape from the defendant property to its neighbor property. Finally, possible damage. The type of damage caused must be a forcible harm if the escape occur. A construction example clearly illustrates this. Consider Mega Towers neighborhood, who is building a skyscraper next to the Oasis resident. Mega Tower accumulate a massive quantity of the bentonite slurry for their foundation work, which is a non-natural use in dense urban area. Due to a defect, the slurry and water escape into the underground parking garage of the Oasis resident. The flooding and damage to the adjacent property would be considered possible damage, making Mega Towers strictly liable, even if they were not necessarily negligence in maintaining the wall. Next, we have the tort of negligence. What is a negligence? Negligence is unlikely like a claim in negligence require you to prove that the defendant was at fault by acting carelessly. There are three essential elements, which is first, a duty of care. Secondly, there was a breach of duty, and lastly is cause damage. Rapid building contractor example, duty of care, breach of duty, damage cause. Let's use a quick example with rapid build contractor. Duty of care. They owe a duty to the public to secure their materials. On breach of duty, the supervisor instructed the crew to leave a large, unsecured scaffold leaning against the fence, violating safety protocol. And lastly, damage caused. A gust of wind blew the unsecured scaffold over, crashing through a neighbor business roof, causing extensive damage. The careless act directly led to the injury, establishing a case for negligence. In summary, both RYLANDS versus FLETCHER, strict liability for the dangerous escape and the negligence liability for the carelessness, a vital aspect of the tort law in construction. Let's watch a short video that I prepared for your reference. Thank you for your attention.
The RYLANDS v. FLETCHER principle. Strict liability for the escape of dangerous substances brought onto land.